Hey everyone, it's Jinx. Before we begin, I want to make one thing super clear. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just someone who has lived with anxiety, especially social anxiety, for a very long time. I've been through the ups and downs, the panic, the silence, the overwhelming noise, and the moments of clarity in between. So what I'll be sharing is just my experience. Things that have helped me. And maybe, just maybe, something here might help you too. Anxiety is not just being a little nervous before a presentation or overthinking a text message. It's a whole body, whole mind experience. For me, anxiety feels like someone flipped a switch inside my chest. My heart races. My stomach twists. My hands shake. And my brain? It spirals into this tornado of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. It comes in different forms. There's generalized anxiety, which is like a constant background noise of fear. There's social anxiety, which is more like a fire alarm every time you need to speak or be seen. There's panic disorder, OCD, phobias. They all manifest differently but carry that same undercurrent of fear. For most of my life, I found my peace in quiet places. Video games were one of my main escapes. When my world felt too loud or too much, I'd sink into another one that felt safer. Riding my skateboard gave me this beautiful mix of freedom and motion. And sometimes, I just needed to be completely alone. And I mean it. Being alone is a blessing for me. Not in a sad way, but in a healing one. I don't enjoy big gatherings. If I do go to something like that, I always have an exit plan. I'm the person who starts mentally packing up to leave 10 minutes after arriving. If I can avoid it entirely, even better. A big step for me was going to TwitchCon. That might not sound like much to some people, but for me it was huge. A convention, packed with strangers, sounds like a nightmare for someone like me. But I went. I traveled on my own. I explored. I even smiled at people. And while it wasn't easy, it was empowering. That moment wasn't about conquering anxiety. It was about doing something meaningful despite it. And that's the key. You don't have to eliminate your anxiety. You just learn to walk beside it without letting it steer the wheel. So what do I do when I feel my anxiety creeping in? I've learned to carry a small escape hatch in my mind. I look for a quiet place. A hallway, a corner, a bench, anywhere. I put on my headphones. I close my eyes and dive into music. Something soft. Something comforting. It brings me back to myself. If that doesn't work, I find a way to leave. I don't force myself to stay in a situation that's burning me out. It helps a lot that we live in a world of AirPods and noise-canceling headphones. No one even notices anymore when you retreat into your bubble. And that bubble? It can be a lifesaver. One of the hardest parts of anxiety is that feeling that people are watching you. Judging you. I have a very distinct look. Some might say goth, some might say hobo of hell. It turns heads. And when I go out, part of me always wonders if I've made a mistake by being so visibly different. But here's the truth, comfort matters more than blending in. It's okay to stand out, especially when your outfit makes you feel safe, like armor. If someone judges you for it, that's on them. Not you. Trains, buses, subways, nope. I avoid public transport whenever I can. The crowds. The closeness. The noise. All of it is too much. I've learned to work around it. I plan ahead, give myself extra time, and find alternatives. You don't have to force yourself into uncomfortable situations just to prove something. Your boundaries are valid. There's no shame in adapting the world to your needs where possible. Just because I have social anxiety doesn't mean I don't want friends. I do. I love connecting with people. But I've found my safest space for that is online, especially on Discord. It gives me that extra layer of control. A buffer. I can take my time to respond. I can exist in a space without being overwhelmed. I still want connection. I just want it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm running a marathon every time I say, hi. One day, I want to bring my TTS setup into the real world. Imagine having that same safety net you use while streaming, but at a dinner party or a convention or even just at a cafe. I think a lot of people could benefit from something like that. People often forget that communication can look a lot of different ways. And that's okay. It's not about how you speak. It's about being heard. I want to remind you of something. You're not weird. You're not broken. You're not the only one hiding in a bathroom stall trying to calm your breathing before going back out. Everyone you see, even the loud, confident ones, might be carrying a storm inside them. We're all just trying. And you? You're doing great, even if it doesn't feel like it. There's a thing called masking. It's when you pretend you're fine. You smile through discomfort. You agree when you want to say no. You show up even when you're drained. I do that a lot. Especially around people I care about. Sometimes I think if I just act fine long enough, it'll feel real. But it doesn't always. And when I get that dreaded no, it hits harder than it should. Rejection, even in the smallest form, can echo for hours. I have a massive fear or rejection and abandonment. So I don't talk about my feelings often. Some people assume I'm cold, quiet, maybe even boring. But that's not the full story. Sometimes silence is survival. And sometimes, not talking is just how we cope. Okay, so before we wrap it all up, I wanted to leave you with a few practical tips. Little things you can try to help ease your anxiety, even if just for a moment. Some of these are things I do myself, and others are things that have helped people I know. Think of it like an anxiety toolbox. You might not need every tool every day, but it's nice to have them when something needs fixing. 1. This one's a classic for a reason. It helps you reconnect with the present moment when your mind is spiraling. 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. It brings you out of your head and into your senses, which is honestly underrated magic. 2. Have a safe music playlist. Create a playlist specifically for anxious moments. Fill it with songs that feel like a warm blanket or a deep exhale. This is your musical escape hatch, something that brings you back to yourself. I even name mine something silly like Panic Note Mix because humor helps too. 3. Text a friend or yourself. If talking to someone feels like too much, just writing out how you feel can help. You can text a friend, write in a notes app, or even DM yourself on Discord. Just getting it out of your brain and into words is powerful. It gives the storm less space. I know it sounds cliché, but breathing exercises do help. Try box breathing. Repeat a few times until the world feels a little less like it's on fire. 5. Make a comfort kit. Keep a little bag or box of calming items nearby. Fidget toys, scented lotion, chewing gum, mints, a smooth stone. Whatever grounds you. It sounds silly until it isn't. I keep mine by my desk, and it's like a little anxiety survival kit. 6. Don't judge yourself. This one isn't a tip. It's a rule. You're allowed to feel what you feel. Anxiety isn't weakness, and needing a break isn't failure. Be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can, and that's more than enough. If even one of these helps you through a hard moment, then that means something. If you're struggling with anxiety, I hope you know you're not alone. There's no shame in the way your brain works. You don't have to fit into every box. You don't have to be loud to be strong. Find what helps you. Hold on to it. And keep going at your own pace. You're not alone, and you don't have to fight anxiety without support or tools. Take care of yourself. You're worth the effort. Thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you even a little, consider checking out my other videos. I've got more content about anxiety, streaming, and just surviving the chaos of life. And if you ever want to hang out live, come say hi on Twitch. We're building something cozy over there, or join our Discord, which is always welcoming and open to new people. You can ask questions or play with us games. Take care of yourself, and remember, you're doing better than you think.